This is update 1 on Tropical Storm Trami, which is currently a high-end tropical storm about to reach typhoon status with winds of 70 miles per hour, a pressure of 978 millibars, and its last position as of 3 PM UTC was 23.3 degrees north, 126.2 degrees east, but this bulletin is at 6 PM, so it's moved a little bit towards the west-northwest at this time, towards the southern Ryukyu Islands in Japan, those being the Yeayama and the Miyako Islands in particular, and then the storm will pass, possibly making landfall on northern Taiwan as a Category 1 typhoon, and then moving into China. So we have typhoon warnings in effect for the Miyako and the Yeayama Islands in Japan and the northern half of Taiwan at this time. We also have gale advisories in effect for Okinawa, the Daito and southern Amami Islands as well in Japan. And in China we also have a yellow typhoon warning currently in effect for the southeastern coast. That's the second lowest classification for the warnings out of 4, but that's likely to be upgraded as the storm moves closer. We also have lots of heavy rain warnings in Taiwan at this time. Those are the other colours on the Taiwan island. That pink area towards the centre is where the rain's likely to be the heaviest. Looking at the sea surface temperatures around the storm and where it's expected to go, you can see temperatures generally around 28 to 30 degrees Celsius, which is certainly warm enough to sustain tropical cyclone development. 30 degrees, as you can see, just near its possible landfall point in northern Taiwan. So certainly warm enough waters to bring this storm to a Category 1 typhoon, and maybe even a high-end Cat 1 if it really starts to develop over the next 12 to 24 hours whilst it remains over water. So this is the latest photogrammetry. You can see how the storm has developed. It's moved towards the north after stalling further south near the Philippines. Didn't know where it was going at first, but is now fairly set on moving towards the west-northwest, which is where it's headed towards now, curling over towards the west eventually, and then moving west-northwest through the Japanese islands, and then either skirting just past Taiwan or making landfall on the very northern tip of Taiwan, and then eventually making landfall in China, probably as a mid to high-end tropical storm in China on its final landfall. So this is the latest imagery. You can see the core of the storm as it's moved towards the north to northwest. Those white areas in particular showing some intense rainfall activity over that storm at this time. So it's August 20th at 7 o'clock UTC. These were all the positions of the current storms. There's a storm in the Central Pacific, Tropical Depression 3C, 94E, which is just to the southwest of Mexico. Of course we have Trami, and we have Pewa as well, which has moved into the western Pacific and is likely to become a typhoon for the second time very soon. More on that in the bulletin later on this evening. And here's a closer look at the Pacific Ocean itself. You can see all 4 storms quite nicely here, all the storms that are currently active in the world at this time. 94E off to the far east, 3C near the international dateline, Pewa on the other side of the international dateline, and of course Trami, which is heading towards the Asian continent. So 2013 compared, this is our 11th storm to reach 40 mile per hour winds. It could be our 4th typhoon and is not likely to become our 3rd Category 3 typhoon. So we're 3 storms off 2010's record low of 14, and bearing in mind it's only the 20th of August, we'll probably pass that one by quite easily, as we will probably the next few ones above that as well. And don't forget, you can track this storm and indeed any other storms out there at the website force13.com/stormtracking.html. That's the main page for the storm tracking information, and will be the most up to date out of these videos and media from Force 13. So make sure you check the website. Also elsewhere on the web, Facebook and Twitter, Force 13 is on both of those mediums. Just search us on there and you should find us fairly easily enough. The next video update will be in Tropical Weather Bulletin number 67, which is coming up tonight at around midnight UTC. That's around 8 or 9 AM local time over in Eastern Asia. But until then, that's all for now.